Today I'm going to be showing you one of the easiest maintenance items you could be doing on your car that is often overlooked by a lot of people, and this can make a big difference in your power and fuel economy. Now I know right sitting here is our Toyota Prius, the most hated car on the road, and I can assure you it probably doesn't like you too. But this applies for pretty much any car with a modern gasoline engine in it, and of course a hybrid engine because it's also a gas engine. Let me show you what we're talking about. Pretty much every modern car behind the air filter has a mass airflow sensor. That is this little part right here. Now on this car, the easiest way to get to it is there are two screws right here, but this little cover is kind of in the way. I can pop that cover off, but I would recommend you doing this when you're changing your air filter, so this part's already going to be loose. Now this is an even more common problem if you've got an oiled air filter, and you can rag on me all you want for this, but we off-road a lot and I love these on my trucks, so it happens to be also on the Prius. Now on most cars these are held on by two screws, and there's usually a little wiring harness down there. So in this case we are going to unclip the wiring harness first and then remove those two screws. This whole sensor will pop out. So we've got our wiring harness off, and we're going to loosen off those two screws. Careful not to lose these screws. They are small and they're not captive, so you want to hold on to them, not drop them down into your air intake. That would be bad. I should mention, because I know there are people that are out there groaning because this is a hybrid, and you're going to leave comments in the section that I won't care about, but I'll probably make fun of you anyway, that the mass airflow sensor on this car is very similar to the one that's in my diesel truck. And the part on this that we are concerned about is the little wire right there. And what that is that actually measures the flow of air that goes through it. If you have any sort of air filter in there that has an oiled filter element or a regular one, you are going to still get a little bit of deposits on there, and it'll cause this not to read correctly. That is what helps govern your air-fuel ratio in your engine. And that's where this stuff comes in. This is not an ad for the CRC stuff. This just happens to be what my AutoZone carries. I'm sure there are other brands out there. Just make sure you're using mass airflow sensor cleaner, because other cleaners that are for brakes and stuff like that will damage the sensor. Now the parts that we're concerned about are right there. There's a wire there. And then up inside, I don't know how you can see on camera, there is another set of wires in there. Now what happens is these wires over time get coated with grungus. That's a technical term. And you might get a little bit more grungus if you happen to be running one of those oiled filters. But even on my cars running paper filters, I still have gotten buildup on that. And the cleaning process is very simple. We're just gonna shoot it directly on those wires. It does not take a lot to get these clean. And then right up inside there, same deal. I did this away from the car because I'm sure this stuff is not lovely for paint, but you want to make sure you get all the wires in there nice and clean. And if you take a really close look, I know you can't see it on camera, you should be able to see a difference, and those things should start looking nice and silver again. Now we're going to take our sensor and reinstall it the same way it came out. When you're putting these screws back in, most of these intake tracks are made of plastic, so you want to make sure that you don't over tighten them and strip out the threads. Be sure to reconnect the wiring harness. I've definitely forgotten to do that in the past, and then you wonder why your car is running like trash. We're going to put the air filter back in place because this one was already cleaned, and button the car back up. Now as you can see, watching this video was probably more time consuming than actually doing the job itself. So every time you do an oil change, it's not a bad idea to go in there and clean off that sensor, keep your car running nice and smooth. Now if this kind of content, this easy DIY car stuff is what you're into, please hit that subscribe button, saving you money tinkering on cars and getting jobs done around the house. I will have a link for the cleaner that I use, but like I said, you can use any cleaner, just make sure it's actually a cleaner for your mass airflow sensor. You can pick them up at pretty much any auto parts store. And I guess because I'm obligated to say it because we're here on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. Thanks for watching.